Croeso Pawb to the PlayStation Indies PSN sale. I hope you're ready to find some cool games and save a load of money. This is a really great sale and there's a ton of VR games on sale, which I assume is because the PSVR 2 is about to release, so they're putting the other ones on discount before the new games come out. So if you want cool game recommendations and help saving money in the future, then subscribe and you'll never miss a good sale again. You're welcome here anytime. This sale ends on the 22nd of February, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up is Battle Wake. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the good price of £4.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good deal, especially for a great VR game. This VR pirate ship combat game has move controller support, so you can use them, or you can play them without, so it's up to you really. In this game you get to play as one of the 4 pirate lords in solo, co-op or PvP VR ship combat. It features 13 real and fantastical ship weapons, and you get to earn gold to upgrade your ship and your skill set as well. Plus there's a load of VR comfort settings, so if you're new to VR and you get a bit sick, it'll help you out. But don't worry, once you've worked through that sickness, you won't get sick anymore, and you won't need these settings either. VR is the best when you don't get sick anymore, and you can crank up these settings to have a much better experience and much better gameplay. This game looks a lot like that game mode from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is a huge compliment because that was a big selling point for the series. And getting to pilot your very own VR pirate ship on the bridge as the cannons fire and you hoist your sails, it's what VR was made for. Experiences like this that you couldn't get any other way. So if you're a big fan of pirates or ship-based combat, you should definitely take a look at this. It looks like a really cool game, and I really like the theme as well. It looks like an awesome experience. And hey, if you've never played a ship combat game in VR before, there's not many options for that, and this looks like the best one available on the PSVR so far. So if you're interested at all, why not take a look at it? At this price, you can't complain. You're not going to get a better option. So definitely take a look if you're interested. Our next game is Kali and the Reaper Man, Escape from the Underworld. It was released in 2021, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the low price of £3.09, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a fantastic deal, especially for a VR game. This VR puzzle platformer has move controller compatibility, so if you've got them you can use them, and it'll make the gameplay better for you as well. In this game you get to control Kali and the Reaper Man as they visit the spirits of the underworld, and it features 2-player local co-op, with one person controlling Kali on the TV while you control the Reaper Man in VR, so it's a pretty decent game, and it's great to have a co-op mode as well. VR is really good when you can interact from the outside world as well. It makes some of the games really interesting and fun to play with friends. I think VR is a very group friend activity. It can be great on your own, but people just love experiencing it. So it's nice to have something that even the kids can join in with as well. Anyway, if you like the VR platformers, like Moss, then you'll probably really enjoy this game. It's not as high budget or as polished, but hey, it's really cheap and it looks pretty decent. So why not check it out if you like those sorts of VR games? And hey, if you've never played a VR puzzle platformer before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one. There are other options, and they're much more higher budget and AAA as well. But hey, this is a really good price, and it looks really decent. So if you've played the others, or you don't mind taking a chance, then why not take a look at this game? For this price, I think it's worth it. We have a puzzle horror game next, Canarium. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the low price of £3.99, which is really good. In this game you wake in a deserted Antarctic base, surrounded by pulsating noises and lights, with a feeling that something is terribly wrong, and now you must explore the base, your dreams, and visions, while avoiding macabre beings to unlock the base's mysteries. This looks like a really cool little puzzle horror game, so if you're a fan of horror games and you enjoy puzzles, you'll probably really enjoy this, especially at this price, so you should take a look at it in that case. And hey, if you've never played a puzzle horror game before, then this looks like a really decent one, and it's not very expensive either, so you might want to check it out, and you might really enjoy yourself and find your new favourite genre. I think you'll really enjoy it, so if you're interested, why not take a look? We have a point-and-click adventure next, Encodia. It was released in 2021, so it's only 2 years old, and it's on at least an 80% discount for the price of £4.99 or £3.74 with PS Plus, which is a pretty good deal, even for the non-PS Plus members, which is great. This game is set in Berlin 2062, where Tina, a young homeless orphan, struggles to survive with her only friend, a robot guardian named Sam53. But after she discovers a message from her father to finish his work and save the world, an incredible adventure soon awaits her. Point and click adventures aren't normally for everyone. They're a bit niche, and the puzzles can be really obtuse sometimes, so they do frustrate and annoy people sometimes. Which is a shame, because in general they're a really good game genre, and if the puzzles are mostly done well, then the games can be really good, especially if the story's interesting as well. And this game looks like a great example. The funny guardian robot looks really cool, and I think he'll really add a lot of flair to the story and make it really enjoyable. Plus I like the storyline and the aesthetic. It's pretty different, unique and cool. So anyway, if you're a fan of point and click adventures, definitely check this one out. I think it's well worth the money, and it really interests me. And hey, if you've never played a point and click adventure before, then you can get other ones cheaper than this. So I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one, unless you're really intrigued by the story. If you like the look of it, it's worth checking out. But if you're not bothered about the story or theme, you can pick up a different point and click adventure for cheaper. So subscribe and I'll help you find another one when they come on sale again. Next up is The Best Reason to Never Hurt a Dog, John Wick Hex. It was released in 2020, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a fantastic deal for a really cool game. In this RTS, which is set prior to the movies, you play as Baba Yaga himself, as you fight to rescue Winston and Sharon from the dangerous villain Hex. It features voice acting from some of the movie cast, unlockable weapons and equipment, and a unique time-based combat system as well. I'm a big fan of the John Wick movies, and it's cool to see them making a game about it. It seems like a bit of an indie game, but hey, it's interesting. I haven't seen an RTS with a combat system like this before. It really looks like they've tried to make the game a lot like the combat in the movie, which is a great thing. You get to live out your John Wick fantasies, shooting people left, right and centre in this game. You can't ask for much more. That's exactly what you'd want from a John Wick game. So if you're a big fan of RTS games and you're looking for something a bit different, you should definitely check this out. It looks really awesome and cool, and I think it'd be a lot of fun, and the theme helps as well. You can't go wrong with a John Wick theme. And hey, if you haven't played an RTS game before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one. It's very different and unique, and it's not atypical of the rest of the genre, so I wouldn't recommend it unless you're really into John Wick. Otherwise, take a look around. There's not a massive amount of RTS games around, but they do come up on sale occasionally. So subscribe to make sure you don't miss out when they come up on sale next. Next up we have Judge. No, not Judge Dredd, just Judge. I'm sure they're not related at all. It was released in 2017, so it's 6 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the low price of £2.39, which is pretty good. In this game you are a judge, a lawman given the power to stop crime at will, and go around as a one-man army, saving the helpless and protecting the needy, in a futuristic sci-fi world. Yep, definitely not Judge Dredd. It's just a coincidence that people think it's like a Judge Dredd game. And this game even features customizable cybernetics, items, weapon mods, and companions, who can help you police the futuristic megacity, and by performing heroic feats you even get to unlock new equipment as well, which is pretty cool. And it even features local 2-player co-op as well, so it's a really good game to play with a friend, or a kid, if you're okay with them seeing all of the violence of the judges. Anyway, this looks like a really good top-down shooter, with a brand new idea that definitely wasn't borrowed from a much more famous franchise. So anyone that likes top-down shooters should definitely take a look. I think you'll have a lot of fun with this game. And hey, if you haven't played a top-down shooter before, then why not take a look at this one? It's a really cool game, a really good price, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. You may even find your new favourite genre. So if you're interested at all, why not take a look at it? You'll probably really enjoy yourself. We have a management game next, Meg Aquarium. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and is on at least a 70% discount for the price of £5.69 or £4.74 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal. In this game you get to open and run your own aquarium business by designing and building your own fish tanks, facilities, managing your staff, and gift shops as well. It features 10 levels in a campaign, a sandbox mode, 97 species, over 100 decorations, and a decorating system to theme your aquarium as well. I've been interested in this game for a long time. I like management games and this one piqued my interest a while back. It looks really cool, but pretty much the only downside I can see is that there's a DLC, and the DLC adds extra fish and an entire new campaign as well. So with only 10 levels in the base version, I pretty much think you need the DLC for the complete experience and an actual full game. But hey, I really like the look of it, so if you like these sorts of games as much as I do, or you like aquariums, then you should definitely check it out. You may have to pick up the DLC when it goes on sale at some point, but I think it'll be a really cool game, and it seems to be really popular as well, so why not take a look? I think it's a really cool and interesting game. And hey, if you've never played a management game like this before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one. I really like the look of it, and it's not a bad price, but it does seem a bit incomplete without that extra DLC. And you can get other management games that have much better track records and are much more AAA than this, for about the same price or a little bit more. So it's up to you really if you want to take a chance on this. It might be the best game you've played in ages, but if not, don't worry. Subscribe and I'll help you find something else in another sale. Next up is my star buy, Planet Coaster Premium Edition. It was released in 2021, so it's 2 years old, and it's on at least a 70% discount for the price of £19.79 or £16.49 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a fantastic deal especially for PS Plus members, as this edition includes the 7 expansions of the Magnificent Rides, Classic Rides, World's Fair, Adventure, Studios, Vintage, and Spooky, which include a total of over 35 extra rides, over 450 blueprints, and thousands of scenery pieces. And the PS5 version is included as well, so you'll get the upgrade for free on whatever version you buy, which is great. So you're getting a huge amount of DLC and massive amounts of content. Buying other versions of this game and having to buy the DLC separately would cost a fortune, and even this bundle deal is usually pricey at its normal price. So this is a fantastic deal, it really is. In this management game you get to build your own theme parks in this amazing simulation. You can use pre-built attractions or even build your own custom coasters for the ultimate thrill ride. It features a career mode, a sandbox mode, firework displays, online sharing of creations, and nearly unlimited possibilities. I mean seriously, have you ever heard of Roller Coaster Tycoon? It's one of the most legendary series in this genre ever made, and I love it. It's one of my favourite games ever. If you haven't played the old ones, go and pick them up on GOG or something. They're usually like £2 on sale, and you'll waste days and weeks of your life playing that game. They're brilliant. Anyway, they were the legendary series that pioneered this game genre, but sadly the guy that makes them doesn't make them anymore, and the franchise is owned by EA, who are just ruining the series in general. Ugh, the new stuff's garbage. Anyway, if you like roller coaster building games, this is now the best game you can get. It's basically a spiritual successor to the Roller Coaster Tycoon series, and that's the best compliment I can give it. I love that game series. Just play it. If you like simulation or management games, and you like roller coasters or theme parks, take a look at this game. You won't regret it. It's my star buy. It's definitely worth checking out. And hey, if you've never played a management game before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. It's amazing and it's one of the best, but it's still expensive. You can get other management games cheaper than this, so you'd be better off starting there instead. And if you enjoy them, or you get hooked on the genre, then you can come back to this at some point and really delve in and have an amazing time then. So subscribe if you want to wait for them, and you won't miss them when they go on sale next. We have a horror game next, Remothered Tormented Fathers. It was released in 2018, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £4.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal. In this game you get to play as Rosemary Reed, visiting Felton's house to investigate the disappearance of a little girl, but when the residents realise your intentions, a horrifying ordeal begins. This version features 4K HDR graphics and an unlockable art book as well, so you are getting some extras thrown in, which is pretty cool. When this game came out, it got rave reviews, and a lot of reviewers loved it. Now, some of the people's reviews are a bit mixed, but in general they're really positive, so I would say it's worth taking a look at. This isn't exactly my favourite genre, but this looks like a pretty decent horror game, and it's at a really good price, so if you're interested in horror, why not take a look at it? You might really enjoy it. And hey, if you've never played a horror game before, then this isn't one of the best games, but it's at a really good price, so if you just want a horror game to try, why not take a look at this? It may not be a legendary game or from one of the best series in the genre, but it looks pretty decent, and it's a really good price, so you might just have a lot of fun and get hooked in this genre. You're welcome. Rogue Trooper Redo is our next game. It was released in 2017, so it's 6 years old, but it's a much older game really. It was originally on the Wii, so that's how old it is. Anyway, it's on an 80% discount for the price of £3.99, which is really decent, as this edition is remastered in full HD, with enhanced controls, gameplay, and an extra difficulty setting as well. So you get a better version of the game, and the best version as well, which is great. In this first-person shooter, you are the last genetic infantrymen, bred for war and betrayed by your superiors at the Quartz Zone Massacre, and now you must stalk the battlefield as a one-man squad, searching for the traitor general to enact your revenge upon him. Now it does feature online 4-player co-op, which is really cool, but this is a really old game, and I'm gonna go ahead and assume that's dead right now, so don't bet on there being a lot of people playing that mode. But hey, if you've got a friend to play with, or a group of friends, it might be a really good game for you. This game is based on a legendary franchise, and it was a big deal back in the day, so if you're a fan of older games, or the franchise this is based on, then you might want to take a look at it. It's not the best first-person shooter around, but it's definitely got its niche audience, so if that's you, definitely check it out. And hey, if you've never played a first-person shooter before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. It's an indie game, it's from a niche franchise, and you can get much more AAA games for about the same price, or even other games that are cheaper than this. So you have a ton of options in this genre, so I wouldn't recommend starting here. Take a look around in the sale, or subscribe and I'll help you find another one in another sale. We have a VR game next, Shadow Legend VR. It was released in 2020, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £5.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good deal, especially for such a good VR game. This is a VR RPG, with move controllers are required, so if you don't have them you can't play it, which is great. It's perfect for this genre, and it'll make the game way better to play in VR. As this game is built exclusively for VR, you get to immerse yourself within the medieval realm of Anaria as you play the Crusader Grandmaster at a time when the gods of the realm are at war. You explore the world, finding treasures and solving puzzles, while utilizing swords, bows and magic weapons to defeat skilled enemies and bosses as well. It features a lot of world interactions, such as playing fetch with your dog, weapon maintenance, smelting in a furnace, cooking, and others as well. So not only is it a fully fledged VR RPG, but they've put a lot of effort in to really immerse you in the world, which is great. This game studio looks like a really good one, and it looks like they cared a lot about this game, which will definitely translate when you play it. There's not a ton of RPGs in VR, and this looks like one of the better ones. So if you're interested in RPGs, and you have a PSVR 1, definitely check this out. It'll be well worth your time, I promise. And hey, if you haven't played a VR RPG before, then this may not be Skyrim VR, but it's way cheaper, and it looks really good as well, so I would definitely recommend starting with this one. It's a really good quality one, at a really good price, so if you're interested at all, why not take a look? I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with it, and you'll really enjoy yourself. Check it out. And the final game I have for you is Torn. It was released in 2018, so it's 5 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £6.24, which is really good, especially for a VR game. This VR puzzle game requires move controllers, so if you don't have them you can't play it, which is great. For games like this, that's how it should be. It makes the game much more fun to play. In this game, after discovering an abandoned mansion deep in a forgotten forest, you enter to find it filled with strange machines and disturbing experiments, and soon discover that the owner trapped himself in another dimension 64 years ago. This game had mixed reviews when it came out, but I don't understand why. It looks really good, it seems to have a decent story, and it looks like it's got some really cool interactive puzzles in it. You know I love puzzle adventure games, and in VR, they're much better. VR is perfect for this genre, and this game looks like a really good example of it. So if you enjoy puzzle adventures as much as I do, and you have a PSVR, definitely take a look at this. I don't care what everyone else says, my gut says it looks like a really good game, and I'll probably pick it up myself at some point as well, so why not take a look? And hey, if you've never played a VR puzzle adventure in VR before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one. It looks like a decent one, but at this price, you have a lot of options. There's a lot of really good puzzle adventure games that come on sale quite often for VR, and this is just one of the many. So if you'd rather a different sort of theme or story, then you'll have plenty of options to choose from. So subscribe, and you won't miss them when they go on sale in the future. And that's all the games I have for the PlayStation Indies PSN sale. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the start buy? Did it deserve it, or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your complaints down in the comments, and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you guys found some games you're interested in, but more importantly I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Au revoir.